Well, I'm back, Sixers Nation. I'm back less than 24 hours after a brutal upset. This team and my love for this team continuously finds a way to reel me back into the loop now. But in all seriousness, Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers have their exit press conference today. We'll highlight the main points from that, talk about a few more things from last night, and discuss what this hectic future looks like as we move into the offseason. Let's go. Perfect. What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome into the show. Hit the like button, subscribe. Be sure to ring the bell if you're new. Don't miss out on any of the content, even though the live game streams and the regular season is over. We will be covering this hectic offseason. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces, and we'll be hitting it from every single angle, the coverage that you need, man. So be sure to stay tapped into the channel. Really appreciate everybody who's been a part of it. And today we are back, and, you know, it sunk in last night. If you watch the post game, I just let it pour out. I just pretty much put it all out there as to how I'm feeling right now. And how I'm feeling is, I don't know. We're entering this zone of just like unknown, right? And we're moving forward, and this team might look a lot different come October. So we're gonna wait and see what happens. You know, we'll be talking draft, free agency. This team obviously needs to get a lot better after yet another disappointing second round exit. We start off today continuing where I had left off on the post-game video. This hadn't come out at the time of recording that, and obviously I was kind of upset about Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid, the comments that they made, pretty much saying that they still wanted to play with each other, and Joel doesn't know why Jimmy left, and this and that, vice versa. And, you know, just to add more fuel to my misery, why not, right? So Jimmy Butler, I'm not going to play the clip, but there was a video of him running down walking down the hallway, going to the locker room, and he started to scream, you know, Tobias Harris over me. Really, and he started to curse, Tobias Harris over me. Now, Jimmy's a good guy. Tobias is a good guy, and I want to give Tobias credit. You know, shout out to him for a great season. Obviously, he didn't have a good couple games the last few, but he played pretty well in the playoffs, and he really stepped up. And Tobias was emotional last night, you know, in his press conference, just really talking about just the strain that this season had on him, and it kind of felt like he's on the way out. Who knows, right? Anything could happen, but if this is the last time we see Tobias, I know there's been a lot of ups and downs through his tenure in Philadelphia, and I want to thank him for being very professional this season. I feel like he adapted to different roles, really grew as a player, and he's always been a good guy, so shout out to Toby. But, you know, Jimmy didn't have to do him like this. I don't think Tobias and Jimmy have any beef, but what Jimmy was referencing was obviously the Sixers not only picking Ben Simmons and Brett Brown over Jimmy Butler when he left a couple years ago, and obviously, like I said, it all came full circle last night, which was the worst part of it, but even more so, the Sixers and Elton Brand, when he was GM, signed Tobias Harris to a max contract, which is one of the main reasons why we don't have much cap relief, and we're stressing out about what we're going to do with this team. And, you know, Jimmy Butler still feels it, man. I've said it for years. I used to get hate on it, man. Jimmy Butler was the obvious choice. You had to keep him on this team. He was such an integral part of this city, man, in just a little bit of time. And, you know, him leaving, everything that has happened since then has mostly been on the downhill. And it does not look good for us. And I miss him, man. I miss him. And we saw it this entire series, the way he came out and torched us. And, you know, good luck to Jimmy Butler. It just sucks, man. It really does. In addition to that, Danny Green, another thing that's terrible, they have confirmed today his injury is not only a torn ACL in his left knee, but also a torn LCL. Looks like a long road of recovery for Danny Green. He's going to be 35 years old. You know, him going down last night after 3 minutes in the first quarter, that was just absolutely heartbreaking. And, you know, again, another guy that's had ups and downs through his 2 years here, but he is a veteran, a champion in 3 different spots. And he really came out big after a tough season, a rocky road. And, you know, he performed well in the playoffs. And I believe that the Sixers have an option with Danny Green that they have until like June or July to guarantee or not. Obviously, it's not looking good at this point. And I do wish Danny the best of success if he does decide to play again. I know he's been talking about, or at least hinting at, retirement. So who knows what's going to happen, but just a brutal way to go out. And I do hope he gets one more chance. But the Sixers are going to have to find a way to replace that shooting, man, and that defense. And, another area of need that we will have to address going forward. Now, getting into today and the exit press conference, I'm not going to go like I usually do and highlight everything. The main things you need to know from this press conference, we will discuss. But overall, I just want to say, I listened to the whole thing. I listened back a couple times. I wasn't really impressed. I know Daryl Morey and Doc, they said some of the right things, but I'm tired of just hearing the same old spew, right? Like, you guys were brought in 2 years ago, and now we're looking for results. You guys were supposed to be the well-respected individuals to lead this organization, and it's not, viable anymore to keep coming out and saying, oh, well, we got to get better. We got to get more talent. We got to do this. Like, we know that. What are you going to do? What is the plan? And now I think you have more flexibility than you did last offseason. You got to make things happen. And I'm looking at you, Daryl Morey. Doc Rivers, I'm looking at you. You got to be better as well. You have to, really adapt to your players and come up with something, man. I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at everybody in the face. Joel Embiid, obviously we need him to get healthy. I feel bad for Joel. I hope he gets some help around him. Obviously, they were asked about Joel Embiid. Nothing but praise. And they really said, we take him into consideration. We have to use his input in more decisions. And I honestly wouldn't mind Joel being more vocal at the same time. But the main bombshell that everybody is frustrated about that I've seen so far, it was one of the main questions asked by Howard Eskin, and the question was, is Doc Rivers going to come back? And Daryl Morey, with a straight face, said yes, Doc Rivers will return. He said he enjoys Doc Rivers and Elton Brand and himself and the relationship that those three have, and pretty much we're not going to change anything. So, we've heard Daryl Morey say things before, and he's going against it, but at the current time, it looks like Doc Rivers is back. And, the one thing, I like looking at the landscape, maybe there's not a lot of coaching options out there. And I can't really put all the blame on Doc this series. I don't think it's on him. However, him being stingy, not giving guys like Paul Reed more run at the regular season or at the end of the regular season, and, just really like keeping the flow with this team. It was up and down, and at times they didn't look ready to go. Mental toughness, we'll talk about that. But, a major change needs to happen. And in addition to Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey pretty much alluded to the fact that the Sixers are running it back with James Harden. So brace yourselves, folks. We are running it back and hopefully adding a few more pieces, but that looks to seem what we're going to do. And I don't think James is going to sign a max. They were asked about that, really deflected it. It seems to me that Harden will opt into his player option. I've said that for months now. I think that is the most likely scenario, or he might get like a 2 or 3 year deal as opposed to a max contract. But we'll have to wait and see, but Daryl said, we seem intent on bringing Harden back and trying to unlock him. That was the words of Daryl Morey, giving them more time to build chemistry and get it together. Whether you agree or disagree with that, let me know. But that's where we are at. And, James Harden doesn't get any excuse for this series. I know he's probably dealing with injuries as well, but the way he came out yesterday, as I said last night on the post game, absolutely inexcusable. He pretty much pulled a Ben Simmons, and, that was disgraceful. I hope he can get better, heal up. I still think he can be an efficient player. He cannot be the second option and a max guy that we need next to Joel Embiid, that we have been starving for Joel's entire career, and we have not had that. And the way that he played last night, a lot of the talking heads are saying that James Harden has a beef with Doc Rivers, doesn't like him. I don't know. But the way he played last night, that's all I can look at, and that was absolutely miserable. Doc, that huddle video that they had, he was trying to get these guys up, and they laid out and gave up. And another point of emphasis in the press conference today was regarding the mental toughness, and Daryl Morey was asked about this. How can he improve the mental toughness? And obviously, last night, Joel Embiid said he would like a P.J. Tucker type of player in Philly. I've been calling for that for about a year and a half now. I said it. I even made multiple videos before this season, right? P.J. Tucker, Patrick Beverley. We need a guy like that. Jay Crowder. We need these type of cats on our team to make us tougher. And every player in their press conference, Tobias, Joel, Maxey, even Harden, even Niang, like they all talked about the lack of toughness and pretty much said that we just didn't have it. And that speaks to Doc Rivers, that speaks to his team, the leaders on his team, and that needs to improve. We need more cats like that. But anyway, Daryl Morey said it could come from internal improvement. It could come from acquisitions. We'll do whatever we need to make it better. once again, just saying the right things. But we're going to see if he can put his money where his mouth is. He did say we'll have to activate and really capitalize on, minimum deals and stuff where we've been successful. But we're going to have to find some flexibility because it looks like we're going to pay Harden maybe $47 million for this upcoming year. Maybe he can try to move Tobias' contract while the value is high. I don't know, but we need more skilled players. I'm tired of these one-dimensional players. I've really grown this year as well and seeing the light. Like, we can't keep overhyping these guys, the Matisse Thybulles. We need skilled players that can do multiple things. We need athleticism. We need speed on the floor to get up and down. There's a lot that we need, and I hope we really construct this roster to fit those needs. Other than that, they talked about the fact that, the young guys, Doc Rivers didn't even know how old Jaden Springer was. He said Bassey could be a great guy one day, pretty much being old Doc Rivers. He doesn't want to play the young guys, and that's just how it's going to be. But I just look at this core in Doc Rivers. I think you need to make a change because we can't seem to get past the second round. Doc Rivers had an insane quote last night saying that, when he came here, we weren't expected to do anything. That's completely false. We were already a second-round team. We're trying to break that threshold. And something needs to happen, whether it's Doc, whether it's one of the players, something needs to happen. But it seems that we're keeping this core together and trying to run it back. The only other things they talked about that I thought were of importance were just the fact that, a brutal feeling. We're sick and we're kind of realizing it. And this is why I used to talk before about, Brett Brown, and I used to complain. People used to tell me, be patient. You got to wait until your stars are in their prime. In my opinion, every situation is different, and I'm starting to really think and reflect, like, is our best days behind us? Are our best opportunities behind us? And I hope the answer is no, but that remains to be seen. Lastly, I'll end it with this. My list of players who are safe for the Sixers heading into the offseason: Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. That's it. Go get me some upgrades, make some moves, make something happen, and that's really what we can do from here. We'll be breaking it all down. Other than that, I wasn't too fond of the press conference. It's about actions now, not words, and we'll see what happens. But give me your thoughts down below in the comments section. How do you feel about everything? What are your thoughts heading into the offseason? Like I said, be sure to stay updated on the content. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and like always, I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.